Hello there, students, and welcome to Merry O England, where we are going to run through the steps it takes to actually get your mortgage, to borrow the money that you need to buy your beautiful home in the English countryside. So you found the perfect house for you. It costs a mere £200,000. Yes, in England, instead of saying dollars or euros, our currency is called the pound. So if you say something is £100, it's not how much it weighs, it's how much it costs. Oh dear. Now on this $200,000 property, you are going to pay a 25% down payment. In order for us to determine your credit worthiness, to make sure that you haven't been bankrupt in the past, to make sure that you've been always paying your bills, we need to pull a credit report. That will cost £100. In order for the bank to type up the paperwork to create your loan, your mortgage, that's 1% of the value of the home. That's an additional fee you'll have to pay. Now, in order for everybody to inspect the documents and assure that only the parties there signing are the actual individuals, we'll need to pay an attorney, otherwise known as a lawyer. And a notary is someone who can officially notarize the signatures, and that will be another £500. The documentation stamp is 0.5%. A documentation stamp is a stamp of approval from the country or city or locality where you bought your property to make it official. Because think about it, it's a pretty serious thing. You're transferring ownership of an entire house to someone else. So that's what the documentation stamp assists with. Processing fee with the city, municipality, locality where you bought your house is £500 because we have to pay somebody to go and actually submit the paperwork to the actual city officials. Not a lot of this can be done online, unfortunately. A lot of person-to-person work, which does get expensive. So now that we've gone through all of the costs, these bits, of course, are called closing costs because before we buy the house, we have to close on the deal. What is the total mortgage? All right, Mr. Rogers is back. I'll speak in my regular accent, but no matter where you are, France, England, United States, Canada, Mexico, South America, like you could go to any continent, right? South America, you could go to Europe, you can go anywhere. This process is remarkably similar. When you buy a house, you're going to agree on a price, you're going to have a down payment, and then there are these things associated with buying the house called closing costs. And what you notice is that these closing costs have very little to do with the £200,000 price agreed upon. They're extra. So like when you agree to buy the house at £200,000, you don't really assume that, oh, there's going to be so much extra. There's quite a bit extra. These fees really add up. And they all get rolled into your mortgage that you have to pay off over time. So what is the total mortgage? Let's roll through the math. 25% of 200. So I know 25% is a quarter. So if I split 200,000 into quarters, I would have 50, 50, 50, and 50. So I know that a 25% down payment is going to be £50,000. So I'll omit the units for a little while and I'll subtract the 50. So the total amount I need financed before closing costs is £150,000. The K stands for 1,000. But we're about to have to add in all of these beautiful fees. I'm going to add in the currency fees first. All right, the percentage ones I'll do later. So currency fee, £500 for processing, £500 for attorney and notary, and £100 for a credit report. 500, 500, and 100 make £1,100. Okay, and the symbol for the pound, here, I'll draw this a little slower so you can maybe practice if you have a pencil. It's like a curl, and then you go off to the side, and then you draw like a hard line, and then you put just like a little dash in the middle of it. So it kind of looks like an E that is like curly and small at the top. So we have 1,100 of these currency fees, and then we have percentage fees. Now, the percentage fees are based on the amount of money that you're borrowing. So I actually had £50,000 to put down as a down payment, so I'm only borrowing £150,000. So this 1% origination fee and documentation stamp is based on this part here. So 1.5%. So 1.5% is because I added 1% to 0.5%, so I had 1.5%, and then I moved the decimal back 2 places. Okay, so one thing that's really nice here is I know that 15 times 15 is a perfect square. So like, you know, when you square 15, you'll get 15 times 15. And some of us have those memorized. And if you don't, you can go through the standard algorithm if you like. But I know that 15 times 15 is 225. All right, so I'm going to write this off to the side. Then I'm going to think about how many pounds that is. All right, so let me go to my North Star. All right, I know 10% of anything. I can do 10% of anything. We're all ninjas. We can do 10% of anything. You just divide by 10. So if I divide this by 10, 150,000 by 10 to get 10%, I'll get 15,000 pounds. So 15,000 pounds would be 10%. I need less than that. I need 1.5%. So instead of 15,000 pounds, I need less than that. This is a little bit too small. 2,250 pounds, that sounds more along the ballpark of being smaller than 10%, but not too small. So this, when I multiply these two together, I can use that mental math skill to tell me that these two fees together are going to be 2,250 pounds. If I add in the other currency fees, I get 3,350 pounds. I mean, that's significant. Like thinking about paying another 3,350 currency units for a house that wasn't even the agreed upon price is kind of mind-blowing. So make sure you go into buying a house with eyes wide open, because closing costs can really add to the amount that you're going to owe. So what is the total mortgage? Well, originally it was going to be $150,000, but we have to add back in 3,350 pounds of closing costs. So our total mortgage here is 153,350 pounds. So when you go to merry old England and you decide that you want to become a property owner, or if you're in the merry old United States of America, or in the merry old wherever country you live, realize that there are other fees associated with buying a house. Thanks, and cheerio.